What's up, family? I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
Two Crazy Ketos.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Good. What you got there?
I am drinking a homemade cold brew coffee with a scoop of salted caramel MCT powder in it.
Yum. And actually, cold brew coffee is pretty easy to make.
Super easy to make. Put some coarse grounds into a bucket. Let it sit for 24 to 48 hours.
Ta-da!
Strain it out.
Deliciousness.
Great. A lot better than spending $6 for a jug of it at the store.
And you don't have to buy fancy coffee.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that you have another cup of black coffee.
You would be
Is that
assuming
like your
correctly.
7th, 8th, 9th of the day?
I think this is number 4,
Number
actually.
4.
It's an Italian hazelnut.
But every one of your cups is really 2 cups. You know, when we say a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
a cup of coffee is 6 to 8 ounces. Like, you never drink 6 to 8 ounces. So
That's crazy.
So it's probably close to 7 or 8 for you.
Yes. And my Wonder Woman cup makes it even more delicious.
Okay. Well, I thought today would be a good day to go over some of the staples that we keep in our kitchen. And some of these things are, like, I think requirements, like if you're going to cook at home, if you're going to live a keto lifestyle, you kind of have to have them. Some of them are nice to have. We don't use every day. A lot of them we use at least every single week, if not every single day.
Yeah. So. And it's nice to have kind of a shopping list like this to go by because there's a lot of things that just have the label keto on them. And if you bought products based on, well, it says keto on it, you could really spend a lot of money for stuff
you could spend a lot of money, and you could be actually getting something that's not really keto friendly. There's a lot of products out there right now like that. I mean, right now, if you want to become a successful business, slap the name keto on it or slap the made with avocado on it, and you'll probably do well. So I've seen a lot of companies lately, like really where they're saying keto, and then when you look at the carbohydrates, there's like 15 grams of carbs in a serving.
That's not keto.
So again, you don't have to have any of this stuff. It just makes life a little bit easier. I mean, I wouldn't say you don't have to have any of it. Some of it you kind of have to be successful.
And it helps you to have a variety of options, and you're not going to get bored with your cooking.
Right. You just definitely don't have to have it all at once. We've kind of built our pantry over time. So why don't we have them kind of hidden down on the sides. We'll pick them up one by one and quickly go over each one and what we use it for.
These are something that I'm nuts about.
Nuts. Nuts. Nuts can be dangerous.
I've had a bad history with nuts, as we talked about.
And you have to definitely stick with the right nuts. There's some really good nuts to eat, and there's some nuts that you really want to stay away from. Stay away from pistachios. You want to stay away from cashews. They're super high in sugars and carbohydrates. Peanuts are kind of one of those on the iffy. These are 2 of the best nuts to eat. Low in fat, low in protein, low in carbohydrates, super high in fat.
High in money, though, sometimes.
High in money. Macadamia nuts, probably the best one of the healthiest keto nut. Mm-hmm. A serving of this, 1/4 cup, 210 calories, 23 grams of fat, 2 grams of protein, and 2 net carbs.
It doesn't hurt that they're delicious, too.
They are absolutely awesome.
But maybe use them in recipes rather than just grabbing a handful of them.
Yeah, it's nice to have if you're having a day where maybe you're kind of high on protein, you need to add some fat. But again, you can exceed your calories with them, and you can also really exceed your carbs if you eat too many. The good thing for me is this bag is $19. So
that's not terrible.
It's for macadamia nuts. It's actually awesome. I get these at Costco, and unfortunately, not all the Costco's have it because we have 2 Costco's near us. One has them, one doesn't.
Yeah.
So, but it's 1.5 pounds for $19, and the Lucky's by us sells them for $25 a pound, and that's actually a cheap price. So the fact that they're expensive actually helps me to not constantly grab them.
Yeah, they're a luxury.
I use them in fat bombs, things like that. Same thing with pecans. Use them in fat bombs or crust on top of casseroles.
They make nice toppings.
Yeah.
Salad, a little bit of salad, but like chop them up so you get the most out of them.
Right, absolutely.
What do you got over there?
Okay, so again, not a requirement to have nuts, but it's nice to have. Okay, let's see. We'll start off with, I think this is a good staple. You definitely can do keto without this, but it definitely helps, and that's MCT oil. And Perfect Keto just happens to be the company we use. We're not sponsored by them. They don't send us any free products.
Nope.
But we do use them all the time because I like the ingredients.
It's got some good flavors.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of different MCT oils out there. The biggest thing, you have a C8, C10, C12, and we're not doctors, so I'm not going to really get into the difference. C8 really goes towards your mind.
Right.
What you really want to do is look for a company that tells you how much C8, how much C10, how much C12. This one here that we get, it's a little bit more money, but it's straight C8. For about $10 less, you can get one where it's a combination of the three. And none of them are bad for you. No. It's just that we really want the cognitive function.
I was going to say, we're really looking for the mental clarity.
The biggest thing I would say if you're going to buy MCT oil, and there is another company we use, we just ran out from sports research. We get it from Amazon. There's usually the best prices. We'll put a link in our description of which one we use. Perfect Keto, there's tons of coupon codes out there. So you can get 20% off your order. And then every time you order something, they actually send you a thing that if you review their product, they'll give you 15% off. So
it's totally worth it.
You should really never have to pay full price. This bottle here, I believe was, if I remember right, was $40 before a 20% off coupon that we found. And this is 32 ounces. It lasts a really long time.
Because you're really only using half a tablespoon at a time.
Yeah. So, and then the MCT powder, definitely completely optional. I just like it because there's times where, we don't have a blender with us and, you can't get the same effect with the liquid oil. Yeah. So this, you can just put a spoon in there, shake it up, especially if you're doing something cold.
Yes.
You can't make a bulletproof coffee with butter in an iced coffee. It'll just get all chunky. So I use the MCT powder, and they have a few different flavors. So the only one I would say is they sell a salted caramel one.
It's delicious.
Which is absolutely incredible. But that one does have 2 net carbs in it. None of the other ones have any carbs in it.
So it's really a treat.
Yeah, it's super a treat.
Okay, so I have something that is overall super necessary in my life, but this particular brand isn't super necessary, and that is coffee.
Coffee. Absolutely.
Gotta have coffee.
Gotta have coffee. Caffeine is so good for you.
I love it.
Keeps you alert. And this is actually from Four Sigmatic. It's a mushroom coffee. We won't get into it. If you want to know about that stuff, go check out Thomas Dolal's website. He gives you all the science about it. I love watching him as a YouTuber because he gives you the science behind something, like why is this ingredient in there and what it does. And I'm not a doctor, so we enjoy it.
Yes.
This was a treat one, but we use a Keurig a lot, but just coffee in general, absolute must.
Gotta have it.
Yeah. We'll go with 2 at a time. Cream cheese and pasture-raised butter.
I feel like that is a necessity.
Absolutely. and super not expensive. We probably
this is Trader Joe's.
That's Trader Joe's, and we just did use it, and
was it $1.50?
It was, I don't even remember. I want to say it was like $1.50, $1.70. It's actually got one of the lowest carbohydrates I've seen on cream cheese. It's got a super sweet taste to it.
It does.
Really, this one is really, really good. But,
we're
if you
not
have an Aldi's has a good cream cheese. Their cream cheese is another one that's low in carbohydrates. So just remember there are carbs in cream cheese. And then, of course, pasture-raised butter. My biggest advice is to get pasture-raised. It doesn't have to be Kerrygold. We started using this company. We use this company.
Farms.
We use this company and we use Kerrygold, whichever one is on sale.
And they're really delicious. It's like a lot of times it's breakfast for us. We're adding it to a coffee.
At least a stick of butter a day. Yeah. Just between the 2 of us, not including the kids.
Yeah.
So that's an absolute must. Cream cheese and butter.
Love it. Okay, well, since we're in a cheese family, I'm going to go with Kerrygold cheese. Any kind of cheese.
Any kind of cheese. I would definitely pay attention to the carbohydrates.
Not like the American Kraft Singles.
Don't buy American cheese. That's not cheese. Any American. Not Kraft Singles. If it says American cheese, even if you're buying it from the deli, it's not real cheese. It's a cheese product. So
cheese-like product.
Check your carbohydrates. Again, Costco, BJ, Sam's Club, if you have a membership to any one of them, they have the best prices on Kerrygold. This entire block, which I don't even know how big, what is this? This block is 2 pounds and it's $11. So,
and it is, if you've never had Kerrygold cheese, I just recommend trying it. You'll love it. It is so rich.
Doesn't have to be Kerrygold.
No,
just
it doesn't.
a good quality cheese. There's lots of good pasture-raised cheeses out there.
It's
just again, check your carb content. Cheese has carbs in it.
Yeah.
Now, Kerrygold registers 0 carbs, which of course means it has anything less than 1. So I always figure it's 1. So
they're sneaky.
Yeah.
They round. We round up. They round down.
And if you can find some of the other Kerrygolds, they have a Skellig cheese. It's a sweet cheddar. Probably my favorite one.
We're still looking for the Swiss cheese in our local
Kerrygold
store.
mixes, nobody has.
It's like the unicorn we can't find.
Yeah. While we're in the dairy section, pasture-raised eggs.
Do we eat eggs?
Yeah.
Do we ever eat eggs? You think?
We go through, I would say, I don't know.
We could sponsor our own farm.
At least a half a dozen a day, if not more.
I think we're putting a lot of farmers' kids through college.
I would say we eat it. We generally eat eggs once a day as a meal. If not once a day, every other day. But on the days that we're not eating eggs in our meal, as a meal, it's incorporated into our meal, like in a mug cake or something like that.
Now, for a long time, we ate like all these eggs. They were the cheapest eggs that we could find.
79 cents a dozen.
Less than $1 a dozen. And that is completely fine.
Egg is the healthiest protein you can eat.
Yeah.
And if you're counting your ounces, like I only want to eat like 4 ounces of protein. It's super easy. It's super easy. Every egg is 1 ounce of protein.
Right.
So, and I figure, look at this. If you eat 3 eggs in your meal and you're looking for 3 ounces of protein.
Right.
That if you pay full price for the eggs, okay, and most of the stores by us are between $5 to $6. We'll use $6 for a dozen, rounded up.
Okay.
If you pay full price, that's $1.50 for your protein in your meal. What other protein can you eat for $1.50?
Can't buy a chicken breast or
can't buy chicken breast or a steak or any of that for $1.50. Now the good thing is there's always a store that has them on sale, so we're usually paying between $3.50 and $4.
And there is a significant taste difference.
Huge taste difference. But again, it is absolutely not a requirement to go pasture raised. There's a lot of health benefits to going pasture raised. When you go pasture raised, if it's true pasture raised, I would definitely say research the company that you're buying. But if you can afford pasture raised or free range, go ahead and get them. If you can't, don't worry about it. But eggs are an absolute necessity.
Yeah, gotta have it. All right, here's one I thought only old people ate before we started this. Flaxseed.
Yeah. Now this actually, this is a flaxseed meal. You can buy. We also buy regular flax seeds. We usually buy it in bulk at Lucky's.
Yeah.
This is a meal, and this is really good. It makes some good mug cakes.
Yes.
And it makes really good crackers.
It is awesome. And the crackers, and then you dip them in spinach dip. Oh my goodness. Good snack
I love
for the
this
kids.
stuff. We get it on Amazon. And I'll tell you, if any of these things, if we get it on Amazon, put it in the... We're always going to tell you the cheapest place to get it because we're thrifty. So I never want anybody to spend more than they need to.
No.
So cheapest place I've ever found this is Amazon. And it lasts us a long time. This I think is a necessity. And that is Sweeteners. And I got 3 different kinds here. Actually, we have a 4th one too. But we've got, that's a liquid stevia. I happen to really like this one. It's not based in alcohol.
It's delicious.
This one is probably my favorite one. We used to always use the Better No Foods.
If you're not a stevia fan, give it a shot.
Yeah, we also do have, we've used this one too. This Better Stevia.
Yeah.
This one is really good too. This one, I think because there's no alcohol in it, I like the taste a little bit better. And then this is one I just recently found. This is pure powdered stevia.
It's very good for baking.
It's really good for baking. It's really good to put in your coffee or whatever. Just understand that, it is super potent. So a 1/12 of a teaspoon. A 1/12 of a teaspoon is equal to a full teaspoon of sugar. When you're going to buy powdered stevia, only get it this way.
Yeah.
Don't buy the packets that say stevia because they're always mixed with something. And usually it's not something good. So there's carbohydrates.
You want the least amount of chemicals as possible.
Yeah, it's like, unfortunately, like Splenda. Like, there's carbohydrates in Splenda. And they will raise your blood sugar. And this is monk fruit.
This is delicious.
This is really good. Now, this monk fruit is mixed because, again, monk fruit, super concentrated, and they are mixing this with erythritol. So it is a sugar alcohol. If you look on the back, it'll say 4 carbs, but it's 4 sugar alcohol, so it's a 0 net carb. But that's another one to have. So, and along with that, just because we did forget, like we're talking about sweeteners, a erythritol. The best place I found for it, we do keep it in here because
like
we
this
live
container.
in Florida.
Yes.
And Florida loves bugs.
Central.
So we keep everything in here to just keep it all nice and sealed. But we go through a lot of erythritol, and we use Anthony's. Anthony's is probably the cheapest one I found. It's available on Amazon.
Xanthan Gum.
Xanthan Gum. Definitely not a necessity.
But super helpful.
Yeah, so if you do a lot of cooking, if you want to make a lot of gravies, things like that.
It's a thickener.
This is a thickener. It's kind of like using cornstarch, and you only need a little bit.
A tiny,
tiny
bit.
a quarter of a teaspoon. Like we make an ice cream milk and put just a little bit of this in it. It makes it super thick.
It's like ice cream consistency.
But I've actually put in, when I first started using this, I was putting in what I would normally put for cornstarch, and it became like glue.
Yeah, it's like zero to cement.
Yeah, you need very, very little. I mean, I've had this same jar since I started keto.
It's 18 months.
So, definitely not a necessity.
Mayonnaise.
An absolute necessity.
I
Either
think so.
making it yourself or buying it.
And I think we're starting to lean towards making it ourselves because we've got really aggravated and fooled recently. Yeah,
I mean, we talk about slap avocado or keto on it, and we decided that we were going to cut out the canola oils and all the trans fatty oils out of our life, and mayonnaise is always made with canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, stuff like that. And we'd found in BJ's, I think it was Hellman's or Heinz, one of them.
Both Hellman's and Kraft. We got
Kraft. It was Kraft, and it said avocado oil mayonnaise on it, and we were using it, going all along. And then one day I'm looking at the label, and it says on the back, a blend of
canola, soybean, and avocado.
Yeah.
And avocado was like the last thing on the list.
So it still had all those. So I found 2 companies so far that sell true avocado oil.
Like legit.
Right. And one of them is Primal Foods. And we get a lot of our salad dressing. It is a little pricey. It's about $6.99 for a little container. But it is super good, super flavorful. You only really need a tablespoon. And a serving size is 2 tablespoons.
Yeah.
And then they make a mayonnaise. Again, kind of pricey at $8.99 for like a 12 ounce. Chosen Foods is another one that we found. It's a little bit cheaper, but they sell this one in Costco. It's double the size that the grocery store has for the same price.
I have coconut milk. We do use a lot of
coconut milk.
This Trader Joe's
this
one
is different. Good. This is different than buying the other one. I think you have the other kind down there too, don't you? So you have 2 different kinds. You have the canned kind. This has fat in it, lots of fat, and there's actually also coconut cream. Okay,
that stuff is.
And then you have just you can buy the refrigerated version. Or we started shifting to this kind more for some reason. I don't remember why we.
I think
shifted.
it was price.
This has a lot more fat in it. The can. This is really good in recipes. It's really good if you want to make like a coconut curry, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
I make fat bomb like matcha lattes with it.
Yes, those are good.
Now I would not necessarily use this one. I'd use the light version unless you want a lot of calories. Like this can is 6 servings, a quarter cup per each serving, and it's 110 calories a serving. So this can is 660 calories.
It's small, but it's mighty.
Yeah, and it would be 66 grams of fat. So that would be a great fat bomb. I would say this is an absolute necessity if you want to do any kind of cooking. It's a great way to add fat, a great way to add flavor. As far as this, we just choose coconut. We decided to steer more away from the almond milk because of...
We do use hemp. Sometimes.
Hemp milk, coconut milk. My favorite is milkadamia, which is macadamia nut milk.
It is so delicious, but it is pricey.
Yeah, just make sure when you're buying your coconut milk, your almond milk, don't buy soy milk, but whenever you're buying it, make sure you're getting the unsweetened and look at the carbs because some of them have hidden carbs. I've got cacao butter.
Yum.
Yep.
Delicious.
Cacao butter, and you can buy either cacao butter or cocoa butter. There's slight differences.
Paleo.
Yeah.
I think this one's the more paleo.
One of them is a little bit more paleo friendly. They are all about the same price. Just make sure you're buying organic, non-GMO. But this makes incredible fat bombs, and it's really awesome because it's shelf stable. So you can mix this with a little bit of stevia. I'll usually put some MCT powder in it and then some like chopped up macadamia nuts, and you have a fat bomb that you can take out in the 85
that's not going to melt the second you leave your home.
So super healthy for you, and again, not super expensive.
No.
So definitely like on the top of the list of things I would get early on.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see, what else do I have? Something that we eat all of the time. Hamburger meat.
Hamburger meat.
Ground beef.
Ground beef. Yep. So this is grass-fed 80-20. We try to at least buy 80-20. 85-15 is the lowest fat that we'll buy.
Yeah.
So, but you know, 85-15, it is still kind of lean. So but you get to add a lot of your own fat. Grass-fed is definitely not necessary.
No.
If you can afford it, get it.
We're not completely grass-fed.
No, we're definitely not. We only switched over to grass-fed in the last few months, and you know, and that's when it's on sale. You know, our local grocery stores had it on sale once in a while for like $4 a pound. So like I'll load up and stick it in the freezer.
So versatile.
So absolute necessity to have in the house.
For the
because
pizza,
it's quick.
for omelets. What do you have over there?
Olive oil. Along with that, avocado oil, which I forgot to take out. But yeah, avocado oil, olive oil.
We love
olive oil is really good for flavor. Just be careful when you're cooking with it because it's got a low flash point, and then you're going to start releasing all the free radicals and oxidizing it. So if you're cooking, sauteing, stuff like that, we're going to use avocado oil, or I think you have the other one down there, don't you?
Do I? I do not.
This is the absolute must. Coconut oil. Gotta have coconut oil. So many benefits to coconut oil. You can make your bulletproof coffee with it if you don't have MCT oil. This entire jug at our local Costco is $16.
Heavy cream.
Absolute must.
I love heavy cream.
This is just regular heavy cream. This is super hard to find.
Yeah.
So usually it's just heavy whipping cream.
Yeah.
So, but if you can find just heavy cream, get that because they're not adding Xanthan Gum to this, whereas they do add to whipping cream.
Yes, something yummy.
Cocoa powder and 100% dark chocolate cacao butter.
Cacao.
This is to make sure you're buying unsweetened.
Yes.
Yeah, don't buy sweetened.
No.
100% cacao. These are great. Like, you don't mind eating them even without anything. You know, unsweetened completely. Or you can melt them down. We make fat bombs with them. We just bought a ton of these. You make fat bombs with them. Add a little bit of stevia, monk fruit, whatever kind of sweetener, or erythritol. Same thing with this. We make mug cakes and everything.
This is an
like
Aldi's.
That. Yep, that's an Aldi's one, and it's almost empty. And Anthony sells it, so I'm going to get an Anthony's one. I just actually ordered some, so we'll put a link in the description.
And it is amazing how your palate changes. Yeah. Right? Because
I used to be a milk chocolate person.
I was a milk chocolate only person, and now I love dark chocolate. So. Here's something we use a little bit of.
Pink salt.
Pink salt.
Yeah.
Himalayan salt.
Yep. Best price is on Amazon. I think this is our third bag since I've started keto. And just to give you an idea of how much pink salt we use, this is 5 pounds.
Throw out your white salt.
Throw out table salt. Horrible for you. You know, you need to use pink salt. And again, best price I've ever found is on Amazon. I think this bag is like $10. I'll put a link down in the description. And they have a couple. They have fine, extra fine, and they even have a course if you want. I'm actually going to order some of that. If you want to bite into something and really feel that crunch of salt, like on a fat bomb or something like that.
In the fat bombs, it is so, so good.
Yeah. Not a necessity, but...
This is a recent acquisition.
This is a recent, but protein powder. And we use this for baking. Baking, we make ice cream with it.
We don't make shakes or anything.
No, we don't make shakes. We definitely don't want to drink our calories.
No.
Yeah, I'm definitely not drinking my calories. But we use it for baking, mug cakes. There's all kinds of recipes. This company, Quest, actually has recipes on their website that you can use. Now, they're not all keto friendly. You have to really look at it. But you're replacing usually your flour, even your sweeteners.
But there's a lot of flavor. They've come out with a lot of different flavors.
Now this one is their cinnamon crunch. This one does have some carbohydrates. This is 5 carbs, 2 fiber, and 2 erythritol, so it's 1 net carb. This is a 0 carb. And they have all kinds of great flavors too. This is cookies and cream. It's my favorite.
My goodness, that one's so good.
They also have a banana cream, a chocolate, a strawberry, a creamy vanilla. They have an unflavored Amazon best price. I'll put a link in the description.
Ultima replenishment.
This is, I would say this is a necessity.
Especially when you're starting out to avoid keto
This will
flu.
get you through the keto flu. And they have a few different flavors. They have a cherry pomegranate.
That one's really good.
Yeah, they have a grape. They have an orange. And I think
this is lemonade.
One more. There's a raspberry, I think. We haven't tried that one yet. So this is lemonade. I like the lemonade. I like the grape. I like the orange. Again, we haven't tried the raspberry. But the one thing I would say is get it in the tub.
Yes.
The tub is, I believe, $35 for 90 servings. 250 milligrams of potassium in a serving.
And that's really what's happening is when you're going through keto flu.
Yeah, it replaces your electrolytes. It tastes good. It's got all healthy products in it or healthy ingredients in it. So this, I think, is an absolute must. But again, buy it in the tub. The stick version is the same price for 30 servings.
Pork rinds.
Pork rinds.
Now that is a must.
Pork cracklins.
I love.
We actually get these from a local butcher, Penn Dutch, but you can buy them any of the store ones. There's some online that are better than others that are like made in
There's
like
some so
where
good.
they're cooked in avocado oil, and they've got like their organic grass-fed pigs, and
they're pigs with a college
but
education.
even the ones we use, a lot of the super cheap ones from the local like gas station and stuff like that, and I mean, we're not perfect in everything. The only thing I would say is
check the ingredients.
Only buy the plain. Don't buy the spicy ones. The spicy ones, they add MSG to them. They add all kinds of other stuff, and they have carbs in them. They usually have like lots of bad chemicals. The plain ones, for the most part, are usually good.
You know what I've done is you want to eat a couple, put your own seasoning on it.
Yeah. And not just for eating, we use pork rinds to make, you can make nachos with them.
Top of salads, they're really good.
On top of salads, you can bread your chicken with them.
Oh, that's delicious.
Like if you want, like if you're missing like a fried chicken, you grind them up in a coffee grinder and then you just bread this. So I'd say this is an absolute must.
Definitely. So I've got almond flour and coconut flour.
Almond flour and coconut flour. Okay, so we'll start with almond flour. Best price that we have found is Costco. And it's $11 for 3 pounds.
It's a lot.
All of our local grocery stores sell almond flour for $10 a pound. Sam's Club has a good price on it, and so does BJ's. It's just not quite as good as Costco's price. And then Amazon after that.
Costco's getting very keto friendly.
Yeah, so almond flour. Coconut flour, best price is Anthony's. It's on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description. And just so you know, they're not interchangeable.
No.
They're definitely not interchangeable. You can't replace almond flour with coconut flour. Almond flour is much more expensive. This is a little bit better health-wise.
But which one is the water? The one.
This one will soak up water. You need very, very little of it. But we're mostly using it for like dessert recipes, some cookies. We use it for mug cakes, but it's like maybe a tablespoon of coconut flour in a whole mug cake. So it's going to
last you a long time.
This is the same bag of coconut flour since last year. I think this is important.
Yeah.
Fat bomb molds. We started off with these, right? And the silicone ones are the best ones to use.
Yes.
No matter what, it doesn't matter. We use this one, the mini cupcake one. We've also done the big cupcake one if you want like a nice. And I love that one. It's like a 400-calorie fat bomb.
It's perfect.
It's perfect for me. I know for you, though, it kind of kills a meal for you, so I usually have to cut it in half.
Sometimes it's worth it.
This one is really good. The only thing is, if you use this, make sure you put it on top of a baking sheet before you fill it.
Yes.
I probably, every other time I go to fill it, like with hot melted chocolate, I forget that, and then I pick it up, and it spills everywhere.
Yeah.
So put it on top of a baking sheet. This is a new acquisition, and it's ice cube trays.
It's got the silicone in the bottom.
With silicone on the bottom. Just make sure you get BPA free,
yeah.
Especially if you're going to put something hot in it.
Yeah.
And you get a heat-resistant one. And this I got on Amazon, and it was 4 of them for $8. Actually, both of them came from Amazon. This was really cheap. It was like $8 for 2 of them.
Wow.
So either one works great for fat bombs. And then
one
more, and this is your new favorite. Your absolute new favorite.
Oh my goodness, yes. This is a necessity. Even if it's not a necessity, it's a necessity.
I think it's a necessity.
I think it's a necessity.
You can put them on everything.
Cacao nibs.
Yeah, it's basically the cocoa bean. It's like chopped up cocoa bean. Super great nutritional thing. So a serving size is 2 tablespoons, 7
Which
grams
gives you
of
a
fat.
lot.
Yeah.
2 tablespoons is a lot.
7 grams of fat, 2 grams of protein, 1 net carb. And it's 4 grams of carbohydrates, 3 fiber. Literally, like, yeah, you need a handful, you're good. Not even a handful, a spoonful.
It adds so much texture.
Lots of texture, good flavor. You can put them on a salad, you can put them on ice cream, you can put them inside of cookies. You can just eat them plain. If you need to chomp on something,
they're delicious.
Chomp on these. So these are really, really good.
I love it. I'm going to hug them a little.
So, and again, Amazon best price that I found on those. So.
Yeah.
And I would say the one thing that we don't have here that I think is an absolute necessity is one of 3 things: a blender, an immersion blender, or a
Ninja?
Ninja bullet, magic bullet. That's what it's called, magic bullet.
Okay.
So yeah, so one of those 3, either a blender. You don't have to have all 3. Like.
Pick one.
We're weird, so we have all 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the 3, because when you're making a bulletproof coffee, any of that kind of stuff,
just
they're
mixes
nice
it together better.
Yeah. I mean, you take butter, you could put coconut oil, just plain coconut oil in coffee, and it's perfectly clear, and the next thing you know, it looks like you put milk in it.
Right.
So, yeah, but you have to have a blender for it. So I think that is an absolute must. If any kitchen gadget on keto, you need a blender. Some form of a blender.
Yeah.
So. And that's pretty much it. I mean, again, you don't have to have all of this stuff.
But it makes
These are just things that we use on a regular basis. There's other items that we use once in a blue moon that I didn't bother bringing out. But all of this stuff we use several times a month.
Yeah.
Several times at least. Right?
Yeah.
And most of it is pretty inexpensive. We're pretty cheap. So we're thrifty. You say thrifty.
We're thrifty.
So that's everything. You know, I'll put links for what you can buy on Amazon down in the description.
Bye, guys.
Bye.